Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Aaron Dean. We shall respond. Those are the words of President Joe Biden after the latest drone attack that killed 3 U.S. service members near the Jordan-Syria border. And the Pentagon says that it's working out when and where that response could happen. The Advocate Channel's Amy Kiley has the latest.
We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases.
President Joe Biden says the U.S. will respond after a drone strike killed American soldiers near the Jordan-Syria border yesterday. Officials say dozens of other U.S. service members were injured, including some who required evacuations.
We need to lift up every one of those families who lost their loved ones and every one of those families whose loved ones have been injured.
This is the first time U.S. troops have died at enemy hands in the region since the war in Gaza started. Officials say militants appear to have launched the strike from Syria, but that's not the country getting the blame.
We've been attacked more than 100 times across the Middle East in recent months, and we know it's coming from Iran.
Now, some lawmakers say going after the militants involved isn't enough. They're calling for strikes against Iran itself. Some analysts worry that could result in global conflict.
You better have a smoking gun showing that they ordered this particular strike, or you're going to create a lot of international antibodies against that action.
You got to remember that Iran is connected to not only Russia, but also China and other nations.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
House Republicans have released 2 articles of impeachment against Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The allegations say that the cabinet secretary committed, quote, high crimes and misdemeanors. The first article charges Mayorkas with willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law. House Republicans allege in the second article that Mayorkas has breached the public trust by alleging making false statements. The top Democrat on the committee, Representative Bernie Thomas, pushed back against the accusation, saying, quote, what is glaringly missing from these articles is any real charge or even a shred of evidence. So if you're planning on taking a tropical getaway trip to the Bahamas, the U.S. State Department has an important message for you that you might want to know about. They have issued a level 2 travel advisory due to a spike in crime across the island's nation. The U.S. Embassy in Nassau says that there have been 18 murders there since the beginning of the year, some of which took place in broad daylight. That alert cites regulatory gang violence as the main motive for these murders. The State Department's advisory urges travelers to exercise increased caution, specifically on the island of Grand Bahama and New Providence, which includes Nassau. Travelers are advised to use caution when out at night, to keep a low profile and to not resist any robbery attempt. The biotech company 23andMe is facing a class action lawsuit. The suit accuses the genetic testing company of failing to notify customers whose personal information was collected into a list that were sold on the dark web, and also accuses 23andMe of failing to protect customers with Chinese and Jewish heritage, which were apparently specifically targeted. The suit was filed after the company notified the California Attorney General's office that it was hacked from late April 2023 through September 2023. That was before 23andMe became aware of the breach. Tax season is here, which means that the Internal Revenue Service will start accepting and processing 2023 federal income returns. The deadline for filing for most people is April 15th. However, tax filers in Maine and Massachusetts have until April 17th to file and pay because those state holidays observance of Patriots' Day and Emancipation Day. People who miss the tax filing deadline will likely face a hefty penalty unless they ask for an extension. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Crystal River is the home to the only national wildlife refuge in the United States, specifically created to protect habitats for Florida's beloved official marine mammal, the Florida manatee. Crystal River is a coastal city in western Florida that is fed by springs and shelters manatees year-round. Download the Advocate Channel app on your phone or smart TV. Even follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates, and subscribe on YouTube. There's more Advocate Channel entertainment and news coming up after the break.